Throughout history, the United States military has conducted some of the most dangerous and demanding special operations ever attempted. These are missions that push the boundaries of human capability, endurance, and courage. If you're interested in military history and the extraordinary feats of elite soldiers, make sure you subscribe to this channel for more deep dives into special operations. Today, we're examining 5 of the most brutal Special Forces missions the U.S. has ever executed. These operations showcase not just tactical brilliance, but the incredible sacrifice of the men who volunteered to undertake them. The first mission that stands out is Operation Neptune Spear in May 2011. This was the raid that took down Osama bin Laden in Abbottabad, Pakistan. A team of Navy SEAL Team 6 operators flew into Pakistani airspace in 2 modified Black Hawk helicopters, flying low under radar detection the entire way. The pilots had to navigate through darkness without external lights, relying solely on night vision and precise navigation coordinates. The compound had been identified through years of intelligence work, satellite imagery analysis, and human intelligence gathered from assets on the ground. When the SEALs fast roped down from the hovering aircraft into the compound courtyard, they knew they were entering one of the most fortified locations they'd ever raided. The assault team immediately encountered resistance. Bin Laden's guards fired from multiple positions within the compound, forcing the SEALs to return fire while advancing toward the main building. The operators moved methodically through each room, clearing spaces with practiced precision and lethal efficiency. Bin Laden himself was located on the top floor of the compound. When confronted, he was eliminated in the firefight that ensued. The entire operation, from the moment the helicopters crossed into Pakistani airspace to the moment the team extracted with Bin Laden's body, took less than 40 minutes. The raid exemplified the speed, precision, and lethality that defines modern special operations. Another brutally difficult mission was Operation Red Wings in June 2005. This was a direct action raid conducted by a 4-man reconnaissance team from SEAL Team 10 in the mountains of Kunar Province in Afghanistan. The team was inserted to locate and eliminate a Taliban commander named Ahmad Shah. The mountain terrain was unforgiving, with elevations exceeding 10,000 feet and dense vegetation that made movement incredibly slow and exhausting. The operators carried heavy loads of ammunition, water, and equipment while navigating through rocky passes and through thick brush. Every step had to be calculated because any sound could compromise their position. During the operation, the team was discovered by local villagers who reported their presence to Taliban fighters. Within hours, the small 4-man team found itself engaged with an enemy force numbering in the dozens. The firefight lasted for hours in terrain that offered limited cover and escape routes. 3 of the 4 team members were killed in action, while the 4th, Marcus Luttrell, managed to evade and survive long enough to be rescued. The mission represents the brutal reality of special operations, where even the most highly trained soldiers can find themselves overwhelmed by enemy forces and harsh environmental conditions. It remains one of the most costly operations in SEAL team history relative to the number of operators involved. Operation Anaconda in March 2002 was another mission that demonstrated the intensity of special operations warfare. This was a large-scale operation involving multiple special forces teams, conventional infantry, and coalition allies in the Paktia province of Afghanistan. The objective was to search the Shaikat Valley and eliminate al-Qaeda fighters who were retreating from Tora Bora. Teams were inserted by helicopter into high-altitude terrain, where the air was thin and movement was exhausting. The soldiers faced intense machine gun fire from multiple ridgelines as they advanced up the valley. The operation turned into one of the bloodiest battles for U.S. forces in Afghanistan to that point. Soldiers were exposed on open mountainsides with limited cover, facing entrenched enemy positions. The fighting lasted for several days, with helicopter gunships and fighter jets providing close air support. Multiple soldiers were wounded and killed during the operation. The mission highlighted how quickly tactical situations can escalate when enemy forces are concentrated and prepared for battle. It also showed the critical importance of intelligence, air support, and the incredible bravery of soldiers fighting in extremely hostile conditions. The operation ultimately succeeded in inflicting heavy casualties on al-Qaeda, though at significant cost to the U.S. forces involved. Operation Urgent Fury in 1983 involved the invasion of Grenada by the United States. While smaller in scale than some other operations, it was brutal and chaotic in its execution. Special Forces teams were tasked with rescuing American medical students who were trapped on the island during a political crisis. Rangers and Delta Force operators conducted direct assaults on fortified positions held by Cuban military advisors and Grenadian forces. The fighting was intense in the jungles and urban areas of the island. Soldiers faced well-trained opposition in unfamiliar terrain during daylight operations that left them exposed. The operation saw intense firefights in places like the airfield and the campus, where students were sheltering. Special forces had to move rapidly through vegetation and buildings while under fire, maintaining momentum while keeping civilian casualties minimal. The mission ultimately succeeded in evacuating the medical students and securing the island, but it came at a cost. The operation demonstrated that even smaller interventions could become deadly and unpredictable. When special forces encountered determined opposition in complex terrain, it was a valuable lesson that helped shape how future operations would be planned and executed. Operation Just Cause in 1989 was the invasion of Panama designed to overthrow dictator Manuel Noriega. Special operations forces were deployed to eliminate key targets and secure strategic locations throughout the country. Panamanian defense forces and Noriega's elite units fought back with surprising ferocity, particularly in urban areas like Panama City. Special forces teams conducted raids on military barracks, airfields, and government buildings under heavy fire. The operators moved through neighborhoods and into fortified structures, clearing rooms, and neutralizing threats with devastating speed and precision. The operation was notable for its integration of different special operations units working together toward common objectives. Navy SEALs, Army Delta Force, Rangers, and Air Force special operators all played crucial roles. The fighting was particularly intense around the Comandancia, the headquarters of Noriega's military. Special forces operators had to assault this heavily fortified compound against determined defenders. The operation ultimately succeeded in its objectives, but the intensity of resistance surprised military planners. It demonstrated that even against smaller nations, special operations forces can face significant opposition when operating in an urban environment against trained military personnel. These 5 missions represent just a fraction of the brutal special operations conducted by the U.S. military. What makes these missions so demanding is not just the combat intensity, but the level of preparation, intelligence gathering, and planning required. If you found this overview of special operations history valuable and want to see more detailed breakdowns of military operations and tactics, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. The men and women who conduct these missions undergo years of training to prepare for moments of extreme danger and difficulty. Each operation pushes them to their absolute physical and mental limits. They volunteer knowing that they might not come home. That level of commitment and sacrifice is what defines the special operations community. Looking at these missions, it's clear that success in special operations depends on multiple factors working in concert. First, you need exceptional training and discipline. Second, you need superior intelligence and situational awareness. Third, you need leadership that makes good decisions under extreme pressure. Fourth, you need support from air and artillery assets. Finally, and most importantly, you need soldiers and operators willing to put their lives on the line for the mission and their teammates. The brutality of these missions is never glorified by those who actually conduct them. Instead, they view these operations as jobs that need to be done, risks that need to be taken, and sacrifices that need to be made. Their dedication to duty and to each other is what enables these incredibly difficult missions to be accomplished. The psychological toll of these operations is something that's often overlooked. Operators witness things that most people never experience. They lose teammates. They make split-second decisions with life and death consequences. They carry those experiences with them for the rest of their lives. Many struggle with PTSD and other service-related issues long after their operational days are over. The true cost of these missions extends far beyond the immediate combat and includes the long-term mental health challenges that operators face.